Hey, when your producers are financially astute, they understand money, making money, saving money, growing wealth, they stay put in the game. When they don't, man, they get burned out and they bug out. So in this video, we're going to be talking about kind of a 3D process, three-dimension process to keep your producers in the game, keeping them financially on track with the target so that things become really good. Now, this all started for me. And by the way, my name is Schwantz. I'm the author of the Wedge Sales book, developer of the Wedge Sales Call Process, and also developer of bignition.io. It's the triple threat solution for agencies that want to go drive middle market organic growth. Triple threat, and that it's a sales training platform, a sales CRM, and a sales management platform, all squished into one cohesive, integrated unit, making it easy for you to go drive growth. 3D process to get producers deeply motivated in the game, stay in the game, keep growing their books, and grow wealth. Okay, 3D. Here's kind of my backstory. A number of years ago, I was down in Houston running a sales meeting, and a guy shows up late. His name's Paul, and it was about 8:30. We started at 8. He shows up at 8:30, and he apologized. I kind of looked at him and said, "Dude, are you okay?" He goes, "Yeah, I didn't get in until about 4:30 in the morning." "Really, 4:30? What are you doing out so late?" He said, "Well, I just got through driving, from Houston to Lubbock, put my daughter up at school and drove all the way back. And it just took a lot longer than what I thought." I go, So do you have any other kids in school? And he said, "Yeah, this is my second." And I kind of go, "Well, at least the good news is all paid for, isn't it?" And he kind of ducked his head and did this thing. Now, Paul at that point had about a $750,000 book of business, which means he made somewhere at 30%, that'd be $250,000. At 40%, that'd be $280,000. So he's making a really good living. But he also had a really good lifestyle. And, with a spouse and 2 kids, living the good life down in Houston, it appears he might not have prepared as well as he maybe should have. So that got me thinking that morning, because at that point I had a 6, a 4, a 2, and a newborn, all girls. And I was thinking, I have no plan for them. I have no plan for their college and their cars and their weddings and all that kind of stuff. So I come back to Dallas, call up a financial advisor, invite the guy over. A couple of weeks later, we're sitting around my glass table around in the kitchen, and he asked me, what are your goals? And he could see my leg, man, it was just bouncing. He could see it through the glass table top. Because he looked at me and said, "What are you nervous about?" I don't know, man. It's just a lot of pressure. So he said, "Well, tell me, what are your goals?" I said, "Well, I got a 6'2" newborn. I got to buy 4 cars. I got to pay for 4 universities. I got to pay for 4 weddings. And I got to fund a retirement. And I have no clue how much money I need to make or save or anything to be able to accomplish that." I honestly had no clue and had no plan. So he gets out the 10 key or 80 key HP calculator, and he starts punching buttons. It took him about 5 minutes. And he writes on a piece of yellow pad, $65,000 annually. And he holds it up to me. He said, "Randy, to accomplish what you said you want to accomplish, you got to save $65,000 a year for the next 20 years. And I kind of threw up, because at that point in my life, honestly, I was able to save about $7,500 a year after, housing, mortgage expense, medical insurance, utilities, a couple of car payments, kindergarten, and everything else you can imagine. Man, I started thinking about it. And to be honest with you, I got a little depressed for probably about 45 days. And then I had read that book, The Road Less Traveled. You got the high road, the low road. Low road is where everybody goes. High road is where, you make a decision. And I just knew that couldn't let my family sacrifice. So I had to get on with my game. And so then I did. I got fired up and went to work, and things have turned out pretty well. But I bring this up because I'm asking you the question. How many of your producers honestly know to the dollar or to the $500, round up by $500, how much they need to save every year to fund for the kids' cars, the kids' university, the kids' weddings, and their own retirement? And here's the interesting thing. If you're a producer watching this, you need to have about 25 times whatever your annual expenses are when you retire in your retirement account. So if you want to live on $100,000, you need a $2.5 million retirement account. If you want to live on $150,000, and think about this, if you're a young dude, like in your 40s, and that's 25 years from now, and you're living on $200,000 a year now, Well, by the time you add inflation, all that sort of stuff to it, and yeah, you'll get maybe a little bit of Social Security, maybe you'll get something else, I don't know. But when it's all said and done, whatever that net number is, you need 25 times that number, not today's number. I've asked literally thousands of producers. I generally start off with, what's your new business commission goal? And they'll give me a number. And I'll go, how'd you come up with that? And they'll make up some lame excuse. It was interesting that on one of my Monday mastermind calls just this week, one of my sales leaders was on the phone. And here we are right now. This is October of 2024. And he was talking about how he had to go make the rounds. He's got about 35 producers and go tell them what their assigned new business goal is, because that's how he does budgeting. That's how he, they drive to make sure they're going to meet the financial budgets of the firm, as well as the budgets and the commitments they've got to insurance carriers. But that number has absolutely nothing to do with your financial needs. When somebody assigns you a new business commission goal, you got to ask the question, is that going to help you fund the kids' cars, universities, weddings, and your own retirement? In most cases, the answer is not even close. Not even close. So when I think about a 3D or 3D goal setting process, it all starts off with is really mapping out your career. And over your career, over the next 20, 25 years, however long you're going to be around, you're putting in the cars, the universities, and the weddings for all the kids. You're putting in your retirement number. And then that will come back to you, and that will give you how much I need to save every year. Now, for a lot of people, that's going to be an overwhelming number. There's a lot of people watching this that probably need to be saving, like I did. I had to save $65,000 a year, and that's a 22-year-old story, almost 25-year-old story. So I could imagine that if you have, say, 3 kids and they're relatively young, you probably need to save 65, 70, 75, or 80 to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And so then most people are funding the 401k, patting yourself on the back. Oh, I'm doing a good job. But the reality is you're grossly underfunding your future, like I was. I was underfunding my future $57,500 a year. It's like the national debt. So number one, get clear on what your annual savings goal is. Then our second tier is we help people break it down to a 4-year action plan. Here's what's interesting about a 4-year action plan. If you need to go from saving 20 grand a year to 80 grand a year, then you sit there and think about it. I got to grow it by 60. I got to grow my savings capability by 60 over a 4-year period of time. I got to increase it by 15 grand a year. And if I can increase my savings capability by 15 grand a year, 4 years from now, I'll be saving my 80 grand a year. And I sustain that for a period of time. I'm going to be wealthy. So then you sit there and think, in order to save 15 grand, I got to get paid 25 grand. So I get paid 25 grand by my agency. I pay Uncle Sam 10 of it. I get to keep 15, right? So now how do I make 25 grand? Well, I mean, it's pretty easy, really. If you write $100,000 and you get 25% commission, I'm just making numbers easy. There's your 25 grand. 25 grand, you pay Uncle Sam, you got 15 left over. So if you sit there and grow by $100,000 4 years in a row, you can go from saving 20 to saving 80, and then you stay on that path for a period of time, you're going to be rich. You're going to be wealthy. Now, if you're an agency owner, if you're not helping your producers think through this, then chances are they get kind of dogged out. They start to kind of take it easy. They get content because they're making a living, and they and their spouse are kind of funding the 401k if the spouse is working, and they feel like they're doing pretty good, but they're missing the boat. And part of that's on you, and both of you suffer. They suffer because they could be doing so much better. You suffer because your agency's not growing like it could. So tier 1, get clear on your savings goal. Tier 2, break it down into a 4-year action plan of what you have to do to be able to grow to go get that. And then tier 3 is now you turn it into a 12-month action plan. And that action plan, I mean, you're sitting there going, okay, I want $100,000 net growth. I got a $500,000 book, and I got a 95% retention rate. So 5% of $500,000 is $25,000. So I got to make up $25,000, add that on my 100. So now my new business commission goal, 125. Piece of cake. I mean, literally piece of cake. I look at my top 20 accounts, and the average account size is probably 20 grand. I divide that into 125,000. I got to write 6 accounts this year. Then I look at my closing rate, my qualifying rate. That tells me how many appointments I need. And then I go look at my effectiveness rate on either making cold calls or working red on introductions. That tells me what my activity needs to be. So now I know how many appointments I need to set. I got my qualifying rate, my closing rate, my average size account, and now I've got my new business commission goal. And I think of those as your top 5 KPIs. And in Bignition, we've broken all that stuff down. We've broken down the 3-tier goal setting process. As you do the goal setting process, it shows up as the 5 KPIs on the front. So if you're an agency owner or leader and you want to drive this kind of growth in your agency, it's all there. I make it as simple as possible. I make it simpler than anybody else on the planet because I've thought through this with you for years and years and years and I've experienced it myself. When you do, now your producers have reason and purpose to go make it happen, because what kind of producer worth their salt doesn't care about their family? And now you get to help them do it. And then what happens is, one of your fears might be, well, what happens after 4 years? Do they quit producing? No. In most cases, now they've gotten used, they're in the habit, they got their flow, they got their routines. And what they do is then they just keep on doing it. And what they do is now you go from saving 80 grand a year to now the goal, kind of save 120, because if I could retire at 50. I could pay off my house in 10 years, prepay for everything, buy my second cottage, all that kind of stuff, right? That's the power of it. So look, if you want a motivated sales force, a group of producers, show them you care about them by taking them through some amazing goal setting. Make it about them, not about you. Don't be like my friend who has to, give everybody a new business goal and there it is. Be like my other friend who makes it all about the producers, get them really clear, and watch your agency just blow up in a very positive way. Hope you hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I'll be doing more episodes. If you're one of those agency owners that you're sitting there going, I want to rapidly grow my agency, and you're looking for a whole platform, again, we call it Bignition, the triple threat: sales training, sales CRM, sales managed deal, all put together in one thing, then reach out to us. That's why we're here. All right. Have a good day.